Hey everybody, it's me checking in. I kind of wanted to do a video today that I've been holding out on for some time. I'm down in Colorado here, and I figured now would be a good time to kind of introduce the land. I've been down here unloading a bunch of wood, so you have to bear with me. I'm kind of exhausted, but now's a good time to do the video on the land. So I was actually hoping to catch a sunset. You'll have to forgive me. I'm still not used to the elevation, so I'm breathing a little hard. I'm used to working at 4,000 foot, so I've been doing a bunch of labor work in high elevation. Right now I'm sitting at about 7,300 foot above sea level, so it's kind of, it's not too terribly high, but it's definitely noticeable if you're used to lower elevations. So I might be breathing a little hard when I do this. So with that, I will introduce the land. Right here is kind of where the main house is going to sit, and this is what I paid money for. So I'm a big outdoors person, and mountain biking and skiing and stuff like that. And that mountain range right there has a little bit more to offer than the Black Hills. So that's what brought me here. Up in the valley here is Purgatory and Silverton and Telluride. Telluride's actually on the other side of those hills. World-class ski resorts. So as an outdoors person and whatever, you can't really beat that. But today, I've actually been in meetings for the last 4 hours trying to work out stuff with the HOA people and the solar people. So one of the things that I've been working with the HOA people is the permitting process, application process, the review process, architectural type stuff. The guy I met with today was on the architectural review board. So anything you do, because this is an HOA, and these guys are, pardon me for saying this, because I'm not really an uppity person, but there is people here that do really pride their houses and stuff. So it can be kind of difficult to work with. The best weapon you can have is to understand the rules, play by the rules, and do everything you can to keep people happy. So part of that process is working with the board and the architectural guy. So he was here today. We went and we walked the area. I gave him my initial ideas for what I wanted to accomplish on this particular trip. And the main one was to redesign this driveway that the people put in for when they platted the land. So really, when they put this in, they just wanted to sell the view. They weren't really thinking of how to maximize the access into and out of this property. So, with a 35-foot truck, or a truck plus a 35-foot trailer, and you have a wishbone essentially access, it's nearly impossible to get in and out of this location. So, I brought him in here to say, hey, this is the situation. It really makes sense for me to have a drive-through driveway. So, what I did essentially is I just marked out where I think the driveway should be, and kind of walked him through it. And they're really self-conscious about their trees and stuff. So I tried to design it to go through an area to minimize my damage to the trees and the vegetation. So I'll have a roundabout driveway that comes in through here, and then it accesses the main road. You can see the neighbor's Stone Rock address right there. It'll come up through here, and part of that is I need to put a design together that shows where the driveway would go in CAD, and I'll actually do a grading plan for them that'll show slope and drainage and stuff like that, which is more than they want. But in my case, I think it's a good move to be as professional as I can, because I'm young and most of the people here are older, retired people. They're really conscious about a younger person coming in their neighborhood. So as kind of weird as that sounds, it's the truth. So I'll kind of walk you around the property here. Like I said, this is the access. It's not a very nice access. This land hasn't been developed since 1997. I think the previous owners were just holding it as an investment and not really planning on developing it. I'm not sure what the whole story is. Either way, it's a great piece of land. I got it for a pretty good deal. But it's 35 acres. It's got a 150-foot buffer from the lot lines. And all this stuff I'm telling you is really important. Like, before you get into a property like this, especially with HOA covenants, if I haven't said it already, you really need to understand the covenants, because that's the rules. Like, I don't know what the repercussions are right now. There isn't a whole bunch of bite, but they can make your life really stressful, and they've already done it to me. And it helps because I'm an architect. I understand what they're saying and how to kind of speak the same language and explain to them, it may look like this is what it is, but this is where it's going in the future. Like, they only see face value. They don't really understand how you're planning on progressing the design and what your full intentions are with the site. So if they see a bunch of barnwood like this, right, they think you're just piling trash on location. They don't realize that barnwood, like, this is one of the discussions they had. They don't realize that barnwood right there is worth over $4 a square foot if you sell it retail. So they thought this was trash, and if I were to sell that, all the barnwood I own, it would be enough to actually pay what I owe on this lot off. So when I explained it to them, they're like, oh, they still think it's trash because they don't see the actual, like, design aesthetic in the barnwood. So whatever, but there's no covenant that says I can't have building materials on locations. So I won that argument. Anyway, I'm walking down. So this rock right here is going to be essentially the finished floor elevation of the house. I'm going to have to cut and fill the land down about 5 foot. That's not really the best thing to do. It's kind of labor intensive, but because I'm doing the work myself, it's not going to be a huge expense, just fuel essentially. And if I break things, which I happen to have a knack for doing, repairs and stuff like that. So I'm going to do a finished floor elevation, drop that stuff down. And there's actually going to be a guest house here. And this is another thing that I learned in the covenants. They're planning on changing it, but there's going to be a 1,000 square foot guest house that kind of sits in this flat area right here. And in the covenants here, in this particular HOA, they say that you can't have a kitchen in your guest house. So they're kind of in the process of rewriting the covenants for that, just because it's really stupid. Say my family is here. They want to cook eggs for breakfast at 8 in the morning. They're going to have to walk all the way up to the main house just to flip an egg on the grill. It's pretty stupid. So hopefully they get that reworked. I'm going to be actually using a design. It's called the Fab Cab. If you haven't heard of it, I recommend looking at it. It's a really good design for an open space floor plan. Yeah, like I said, 1,000 square foot, 2-bedroom, an open living space, and then I'll leave an area for future kitchen development. So once they do change the covenants, I'll be able to put a kitchen in there. Really, it has to do with renting. They don't want people renting, and they don't want, there's water restrictions here. So if you want to put a kitchen in on the county level, you can pay $10,000, which is a lot of money, for a second tap. Once you have that second tap, you can put a kitchen in. So I'm not sure if that's going to be the same further down the line for guest houses and stuff like that, but I will allow for a kitchen and then figure it out later. So this is kind of the guest house view. I'm gonna try to save this tree. That's a really cool tree. I might have to do some dirt work and stuff to get it to fit in here right. But it's only 1,000 square foot, so that isn't a whole bunch of space to be doing dirt work. So that's not a huge thing to do. It's just a ranch level style house plan. And you can actually put it on stilts above ground and stilt it into the hillside. So there's some structural stuff that goes into that, which can sometimes be a pain, but it's something to consider. So the other thing I did was I met with, like I said, I met with the solar consultants, trying to figure out what the solar plan is going to look like for putting in solar panels to have this all powered off of solar. So we walked the property, and I showed them some stuff, some areas that I thought would make good places to put solar panels. And I guess one of the things I should talk about while I'm talking about that, the whole reason I bought this land is because of orientation. I actually went on Google Maps and I looked at individual parcels that are available in this area, and I knew from my background that north and south orientation is going to be extremely important to do a house that focuses on solar gain and thermal mass and stuff like that. So this is east, and this is obviously south, or I'm sorry, this is west, south, and then north. So all your sun is going to be coming from this direction, and there's a really nice open area right here to put the solar panels. So I don't really want to have them on the house. I think that's kind of a statement, and I would much rather have people come and visit and be, not know that it's solar, and then be able to tell them, yeah, everything that you see here is ran off of solar power. So it's actually going to be grid tie, just because I run a welder and some really high power machinery that doesn't do well with solar. So this is kind of the area I'm thinking for putting solar. There was some concern about the neighbors having to look at my solar panels, but I guess in Colorado there's a law, right to solar or something like that. I just learned about it today, so I have to go ahead and do my research and see what it is. But essentially, you, as a landowner, you have a right to put solar wherever you want, whether the neighbors like it or not. And I don't know if the neighbors care anything right now anyway, because this is real preliminary stuff. So that's kind of what I've done today. I figured, like I said, it'd be a good time to introduce the land and show you all what I'm working on. It is pretty daunting, just an FYI, if any of you are thinking of doing this. It's extremely stressful as a first-time doer. So I guess the best thing you can do is just do what I'm doing, and knowledge is your weapon. As long as you know the rules and you play by the rules and you do everything you can to play by the rules, you're in the clear. So that's my plan, and that's how I'm going to go about it. So it's a great piece of land. I absolutely love it. You can hear the elevation's already getting to me. I'm breathing hard. So I guess with that, I will let you go with the little tiny sunset that I got today. I was really hoping for a better sunset to do this video, but this is what I get today. So truck is working. Next video I'm planning is probably going to be the solar kiln. I got all the wood together, so it's ready to start building. It's going to be a really good project. So with that, I will let you go, and this is where it starts. So I will see you on the next video.